Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I just filmed a very long video that kind of went out into the middle of nowhere. Do you ever do that? Like you just have a point and you completely lose it and you're like, if I'm lost, I'm sure my subscribers are lost. And it was super long. It was on mental illness, but that's going to be for another day. Sometimes a topic is just too heavy for you to be able to handle it. So we're going to back up and do a portion of the video that I filmed before, because as I talked, I realized I could do this topic instead, and this is also valid and may actually really help people. So my topic today is what careers are good for people with mental illness. I know a couple, so I'm going to throw out a couple that have worked well either for me or that I think would work well for me. If you know of some, I would love for you to post below. I'm also going to throw out a couple of jobs that I've worked that have not worked well for me with having my mental illness and why it didn't work. I think it's important for people that are struggling with depression, anxiety, PTSD, all different kinds of, there's so many, I can't even say them all. I'm just going to say mental illness. To realize that there are options out there, that you're not alone, and to not feel like it's pointless. Because when we're younger and we start to grow up, I think we feel like we have to really make something of ourselves. A lot of us do. And when we go to college and we look in a college book of the majors, maybe a couple of things will stand out, but for some people, nothing stands out. And you feel like you have to choose something on that list. Let's just go with something that sounds like what would work with my personality and see what happens. I am a victim of doing that, and I can tell you it put me in financial devastation. Basically, what am I trying to say? Financial devastation, basically. I have tried so many majors. I'll share a couple with you. Teaching, business, CNA, early care and education, psychology. I tried so much stuff that did not work. I thought I was going to go into the nursing field as well. Now, why I thought that? I don't know. I can't stand medical stuff. I don't like to look at my blood being drawn. I don't like my blood pressure to be taken. And yet, I thought I needed to go to become a nurse. I'm not sure what was going on. I think I was so focused on financial stuff and being able to financially make it that I was sacrificing like my identity and what I feel inside in the name of trying to be able to support myself, basically. And that was a mistake. It was a mistake, and so I don't want you to make the same mistake, because I want to tell you that if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're probably miserable going to work. You're probably stressed and potentially very depressed in your current career. If you are depressed and you're not working, you may not know that there are other good options out there for you to try out, or you may not be able to work. And I'm not judging anyone who cannot work with depression, because there has definitely been periods in my life, including kind of right now, where your depression is so bad and you have to find the right thing, if you're even able to do it, to be able to work. And I don't judge that. I mean, I'm not basing that just off of myself. I have friends, you know, and I'm definitely not going to give any shout outs in that area, but I've seen and witnessed people that have either not been able to work with depression or have gone to work and not been needing to be there because they were really struggling with something and they weren't okay, and working was actually making them worse. So, in my opinion. So, that I just felt led to make this video and tell you guys some ideas of what you could think of to maybe try if you are wanting to get back out there and not really wanting to be around people. One thing with depression that I suffer from is I don't want to be like in the public. I don't want to be working with lots of people. I don't want to be answering tons of phones. I don't want that kind of pressure on me. So let's start out with jobs I would recommend. So first and foremost, I think pet sitting is a really good job. With that being said, you have to understand that it's not like an 8 to 5 job unless you have a ton of customers. I'm going to actually make a video on pet sitting and kind of talk about my experience with it, what works, what doesn't work, and how I do it. If y'all would be interested in it, let me know. Post below and tell me you'd like a pet sitting video, and I will do that one coming up. Just tell you kind of how I got started and, you know, how it works. So pet sitting is really good because you are working one-on-one with an animal. You are going into a person's home when they are not there. They're either away or on vacation. So you'll have a key to their house one way or another. They'll either like leave it at the office or give you a spare key at the interview. And it's just you and that pet. You go in and you visit with an animal and you collect a check and some money for doing your visits and you leave. And it's not all about the money. I mean, it's about like taking good quality care of the animal, but it's so good for somebody dealing with mental illness because it's not high stress. And I think that low stress jobs are like a key when you're dealing with depression. At least for me. I don't do well in high stress jobs. I just don't. So, pet sitting is one. Another one would be bathing. If you've ever gone to a groomer, a dog groomer, and taken your dog there to have their hair cut, the groomers usually are not the ones to bathe the dogs. In certain places they are. A lot of places they're not. The dog will be transferred to the back of the grooming shop. They will be put in a bathtub by a bather. They will be washed. They will be either hand blow dried or blow dried in their little carrier, their little crate that's there, and then brought back up to the groomers. So, grooming is definitely one of them. Working at a kennel is another one. So kennels are loud, so you have to be okay with noise. You have to understand that you are going to be working with fecal matter, picking up after the dogs. They usually have like a scoop and everything outside. You'll be walking a lot. You will get dirty. You will get hairy. But you're working with animals that like are going to love on you. It's going to be a therapeutic situation. You're usually going to be backstage, and if you're working with someone, it's usually one person in the back. If you're working with someone. I had many kennel days where I did it myself, and I love that. I loved being by myself and just doing the whole thing myself. So you'll be trained, and you should feel very confident in your job before they leave you alone. You know, you're not just going to be hired and be like, good luck with all those 30 dogs. Run, if that's your situation. But other than that, the animal care field is what I can think of that's like really good. I do not recommend, I just want to go ahead and throw this in there, I do not recommend veterinary hospitals. It's not because they're not honorable positions and not hardworking positions, but from my own experience and from what I've witnessed, high stress, emergency situations, euthanasias, that if you are a veterinary assistant, you will have to assist in. It's not really optional, it's part of the position. You will be bagging animals. You did hear that right. You will be bagging animals and helping to lift them into a freezer. You will be cleaning up urine and I can't even explain everything you'll clean out, basically. Vomit, diarrhea, other unbelievable substances. You know, usually with a mop or a washcloth or, you know, whatever you're doing, and you have to just push through that and get through it. Phones will be ringing. You will be expected usually to make appointments. So a veterinary hospital has a kennel, but if you want to go for like a kennel job, I would recommend going straight for a kennel or a doggy daycare. Don't touch a veterinary hospital, because a lot of times the kennel section of the veterinary hospital will want to cross-train you over into the veterinary assisting position so that they can use you in both fields, and that's a lot of stress, and you're not going to know what you're doing every day, which I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know I'm going to go to work and not be put into a stressful, like incredibly stressful emergency situation. So to avoid that altogether, my advice would be don't touch a veterinary hospital. Just go to a kennel specifically or a doggy daycare, and there's lots of them. I can't promise in your area there is, but at least in my area, there is a ton of them. So make sure you look in the phone book or Google and look up doggy daycare. Look on Indeed.com, www.indeed.com, and they have lots of jobs listed there. So that's a great place to look up dog jobs and cat jobs and whatnot. So I would recommend that one with animals. As far as ones like that are in the public, something you may enjoy is to work at a library. I have never worked at a library, but I have applied before. It's really hard in Charleston to get those jobs. I don't know why, but it's hard to get a job. In a library, you would probably be a page if you do not have experience, and a page is somebody who puts the books back that are returned, and I probably maybe work some in the front desk, but I don't think so. I think mainly their organization and putting books back and answering customers' questions if they're looking for books kind of thing. So that seems like that would be like a really quiet, easygoing job. You're being very repetitive. I mean, you're going to go get books, put them back, get books, put them back, and that may be your whole day. So you have to be okay with a lack of variety in your job, but really quiet. You know, I don't know, if you've worked at a library, let me know how that is, because I've always tried and so many people want those jobs, I never can get them. So I don't have library experience. They probably see kennel and they're like, why would you want to go from like kennel to books? But I love to read, so I don't know, I thought it would work. Also too, I know Barnes & Noble has like a book section. It would be a little bit more customer service with Barnes & Noble, and I have heard a rumor that if you apply to Barnes & Noble, they want you to actually work in their cafe as well. I wouldn't recommend it if your Barnes & Noble actually does want you to do that, unless you like coffee and making coffee. Starbucks and relaxation, it doesn't work for me. I think that would be a high stress job, because I feel like you get the sweet and lows or the sugars or the creams off in somebody's coffee, they'd be really upset, just over a sweet and low packet. I've seen some crazy stuff. So anyway, but it's an idea, because books are there, so maybe look into Barnes & Noble. And I'm trying to think what else I could tell you guys. As far as retail goes, I would not recommend like a retail type store. Like, I don't want to give you a brand name, because it's not like about the brand name of the store or the name of the store, however you want to say that. It's about the fact that at all of those, you're going to be working with customers. You're going to be up front, often greeting, or if not, you may be in the back. But I have actually, something y'all may not know, I worked for Abercrombie & Fitch a long time ago. I worked in the back as like a stalker and the person that went through the boxes or whatnot, and I promise you that they didn't have me out front, because the size 0s and 2s, little model looking girls, were out front with the clothes. They didn't do nothing but walk around and fold a t-shirt every once in a while. We in the back with no AC. Our AC was broken all the time there, and we were working so hard, and it was so strenuous, and everything was like heavy, and you had to like mark off all the stuff on a chart. I thought it was awful. But in any like retail situation like that, you're gonna be like talking to the phone, talking to people, dealing with stressful situations. So over that, I would probably recommend trying to find a job in either an antique store or a thrift store, because I just think there's like less stress. I could be wrong, but in a thrift store, being a stalker, you would work in the back, you would work with clothing coming in, you would have to organize it, and then you would like hang it on a rack and get it ready to come out. You would probably do some lifting of furniture that came in to put it on the sales floor, but I feel like the environment would be just calmer than a regular store. So if you're interested in retail, I would definitely look on the antique retail side, antique mall, anything that would just be more laid back and not quite have the amount of people or the type of people that would go into a very high-end store. Because when you work in a store like that, you have to expect that like if people are paying a tremendous amount of money for an item, they better expect employees to be on it as far as like customer service, answering their questions, figuring out how to handle their complaints, big time. So that's what I would say about that. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you guys. I'm looking around because I'm just like, what else could I recommend? So I've always liked selling, and if you're interested in selling, there are companies that you could sell for. Here's the thing with selling for companies like Scentsy. Scentsy is the one main brand that I have sold for before, and what those are is basically oil warmers, wax warmers is what I'm trying to say. You plug them in, they make beautiful wax warmers, they smell amazing, they sell all different kinds of scents of wax. When you sign up for Scentsy, you get like a care package, basically, like a entry level package, and they give you like lots of little scents in these little containers of what you're going to be selling, so you personally could smell the product, you can try the product, and you know how to sell it. And I had a good experience with Scentsy. It was fun. I didn't make a lot of money because I had to hit certain amounts of money I had to sell after several months, and if you don't hit it, you are actually not able to sell for them anymore after a while. So there's a lot of pressure from that. Some months I did hit it, some months I did not, and I actually personally had to purchase from them to be able to stay with their company. And it got to be where my house smelled like you could eat it. It smelled like a damn gingerbread house, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't profiting from it. So if you just need to be doing something and you have lots of friends and you love stuff like that, that is the best smelling wax I have smelled in my entire life, honestly, is Scentsy. They have so many scents, and you can transform your house. So I don't not recommend Scentsy, but if you're looking for an actual field where you're going to make a tremendous amount of money, unless you have tons and tons of people lined up ready to buy from you or interested in potentially doing this with you, I think it would be kind of difficult to make a lot of money with that company. I could be wrong. Some people have done it. Some people make a lot of money. I was not one of those people, and I didn't like the pressure. I felt like there shouldn't be, because I had paid to get into it, so I didn't understand why I had to meet a certain amount every 3 months. It just, I get it because the company does want to be able to make money by the people that are working for them, but at the same time, the fact that I was spending my own money that I was making on products so I could stay with them, it felt a little just not productive at all. So that is a potential job you could think about if it sounds appealing. I'm just throwing that out there because I did sell. I do like selling. So there's eBay. I don't know much about eBay, but I know lots of sellers sell everything from like watches to clothing to, you can find all kinds of stuff on eBay. So check eBay out, see how that works. There's books written on eBay. I'm sure your library has a bunch of free eBay books. So look into that. There is also Etsy. So if you do a craft and you love like making things with your hands, you feel like you make something that's extremely unique, definitely go to www.etsy.com and look into opening your shop. It is free to open a shop. You may have to pay a little bit to get a good banner on your shop, depending on where you buy a banner. You can buy a banner on Etsy, and you could buy it other places if you have like a web designer, somebody who could create one for you. There's even free banners if you don't want it to look that great. So you could do Etsy. Etsy is very saturated with sellers. It's very low stress because you don't have to sell anything. You don't, and it doesn't cost anything. When you do sell something though, Etsy will take a portion of what you sell for themselves, and that's how they're able to profit, I believe. Tell me if I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about that. I know there's I think there's a listing fee. I think there is. I hate giving y'all the wrong information. I've just done Etsy before, and I remember there was something with that. So look into that. If you're very creative, you like to sell your work, definitely look into Poshmark. That's not just because I'm successful with it. It's because it seems to be a very easy outlet if you have clothing, new to lightly used clothing, and you want to sell it. Poshmark is free also to sign up for. If you sell lightly used clothing, the Poshmark company takes 20% of what you sell and you keep the rest. So that could potentially be something good you could do out of your home. Just creating and selling what you make. I've seen people do it. I've seen them be successful at it. And I've seen them really enjoy it, and they feel like proud of themselves for doing it. So my point of making this is to tell you, there are definitely avenues where you can make money. I'm not saying support yourself. I'm saying have some income coming in. Don't feel like just because, you are dealing with a mental illness that you just can't anymore, that everything is pointless, because I think it's really scary when we get to that place where we feel like that dark, and I definitely still get there today. It's a fight, and I know it's a battle, and I know it's hard, and it's definitely difficult to talk about. I have a hard time forming my words about it. I know if you're listening to this video, I know you can probably tell that, because I want to say the right stuff, but at the same time, I have to tell you guys what it feels like and the struggle with it. So I think careers are always going to be difficult for me. I think if I can find an amazing at-home sales job, whether that be Poshmark or eBay, I think that would be basically honey hole for me, because I could do it from home and I could enjoy doing it. And I love selling clothing too. I really do. I love thrifting and selling the clothing that I find. So if you can find something like that you're passionate about, that is just really ideal. And a lot of us have a creative side to us, and I say go after that. Whether you create a YouTube channel or you sell what you make, I would hate for you just to sit and be miserable and not at least try to invest in that side of yourself and try to present that to the world and see what others think, because sometimes it's all about putting it out there, feeling like we're going to get completely rejected and judged, and having people shockingly support us and say, hey, I think that that's amazing. There's crafts that I make that I'm just like, it's not good enough, or that's not what I wanted that to turn out to look like, or I don't know if anybody's gonna like that. I feel that way. I definitely do. And I post it, and 9 times out of 10, usually 9.5 out of 10, people really have enjoyed it, or they've gotten inspiration from it, or said they appreciated it. And that's a really big thing. I think so many of us are so used to self-judgment, self-hate, being judged. I know having a mental illness is challenging. It's a daily challenge, and I don't know how to make that challenge end, and I cannot tell you how to make yours end. What I can tell you is that, like I said, there are jobs out there that you can do, that you can actually feel good about yourself doing and actually be able to do, as opposed to forcing yourself into a full-time. If you can hear that music, my washing machine sings. I don't know why. If you force yourself into a position in which you are not capable of doing, and basically you're going to burn out, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to feel like somebody you're not when you go to work. You're going to feel like you're acting, and you're going to get in that car and not want to go back to that job, and you're going to experience that every single day that you go to work. And that's not a life worth long-term living, probably. And I say that because I just feel like you're miserable. You're so miserable, and I have been there, and I know. That's why I am searching greatly for a position in which I can support myself, but also do things that I am passionate about, so I don't have to experience that again. I don't have to be like, I would literally rather die than walk into this office and be someone I'm not and try to survive it. It's tough, and that's why I try to do these videos and raise more awareness about depression, because I don't want you to feel alone, and I want you to feel like there's options, because when we run out of options, we run out of hope. And I think that's it. When we run out of options, we run out of hope, because we just don't know how to function as a human being anymore, because there's other people out there that can work those jobs, and that are telling us, hey, you should be able to do this. People that are judging us, maybe you may have a family member that looks at you and just is like waiting for you to accomplish something, just maybe you're the black sheep of your family, and they judge you for it, and they're just like thinking, maybe they're thinking, what a waste or something, maybe they've told you that to your face, or they've been like, what are you doing with your life? Why are you waiting? Why are you stuck in this situation? Like, or maybe you have a job and you're trying so hard at your job and people don't appreciate it. They think, are you going to move up in your job? Like, aren't you going to like reach a management position? Why can't you become more than what you are right now? Lord have mercy. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on people that do that and devalue you and tell you what you should be doing or think of you as less. At the end of the day, no one walks in your shoes. No one knows what it feels like to wake up and be you, and no one knows how hard you try to get through the day. Be proud of yourself, and if you have a mental illness and you're able to do, honestly, any kind of job, and you're able to stick to it already, you're probably ahead of most of us. Just being real. Like, you're already ahead of the game, so you be thankful for whatever job it is that you work and that you get up and you go to every day, because it is a struggle. It is hard, and especially waking up in the morning. I don't care if you're going to Taco Bell. I don't care if you're working at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't care if you're working at a stable with horses shoveling horse manure. Whose first job was that? Oh yeah, that was mine. I did that for 24 hours. Never went back. So I'm just saying, I have definitely tried some jobs. But it's honorable to have one and to hold one and to let what people say go in one ear and out the other, because they don't get it. They do not understand this. And I know the struggle. I know how hard it is. I've had people look at me basically and go like, we just need to be more positive, or, look at life a different way, be happier. Like, I wish it were that easy. Like, in what world is it that easy? Who has actually had mental illness and been able to do that? I'd love to know, because just finding something positive during the day and being able to speak about it is very difficult. And I feel like I find peace. I don't really like the word like happiness personally. The word happiness is actually pretty triggering for me, and that has to do with past stuff. So I know y'all are gonna be like, what? But just go with me on this. Peace is a better word. Finding comfort in what you are doing, whether it be with your hands or your legs or whatever, exercising or crafts. You can find peace in that. You just have to find the right peace, and everybody's peace is different. So don't give up. Try out things. Try out maybe some of the ideas I gave you. I would love some information below from people that have been there, that are like, hey, I have a great idea. If you're struggling to work, maybe try this. I'd love to hear about that. And let's keep this pretty judgment-free, because this is a very sensitive topic that a lot of us are going through. And none of us are sitting home saying, I want to be supported, I don't want to do anything, and I'm not sick. I mean, I don't feel like my subscribers who are dealing with this are doing that personally. And there's a time where I feel like it's important to give negativity in a way that would like make my channel better, but there's also a time to stand up for my subscribers and people that don't even know me that suffer from mental illness and say, at this point, we've had enough negativity and we need advice and we need resources and we need support, because it's scary. It's scary to have any form of mental illness and for your heart to be fighting with your head and for you constantly trying to remind yourself why you're here and that there is a point to all this and that at some point you're gonna figure what that is out, and things like that. So anyway, guys, I think I'll end this here. This is 25 minutes long, so sorry if I've like looked all over the place and said all kinds of things that you can't relate to. I had somebody mention in my last video that they wanted me to do more mental illness videos, and I know I don't do those a lot, and again, it's because they're super challenging and because I can't figure out exactly how to get across what I really am trying to get across, but I do want to do them, and I have to be in a certain state of mind to do them. Today I'm just not having a great day. Like, I feel down, I'm feeling defeated, I feel frustrated, I feel like I should be creating, but I don't really want to create today, and so instead of not making a video and feeling really, really depressed, I wanted to come to you guys and to give you guys some ideas and get us talking about this and to bring awareness in the moment. I want to inspire you. If you have a YouTube channel and you deal with a mental illness, don't be afraid to speak out about it, because people are alone and they are scared and they need to hear. And I am one of, I hope, many, many people that are going to bring a face to depression and for people just to be open about it. I am going to be getting a tattoo. It's definitely a goal, a semicolon tattoo somewhere on my wrist. It stands for depression awareness, suicide awareness, and I've seen people have them. I've seen them out in public, and I've just thought, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Like, that person knows, you know? And there's such comfort in that. It's crazy, but there is. So I'm definitely going to get one. But anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night. Take care. Remember to leave me some comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you but appreciate depression awareness. If you would like to see more videos on me speaking out about, mental illness in general. And things like that. So my goal is to be able to do that more for you guys and to bring support and awareness to this issue. So hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks for staying with me this long, and I'll see you soon. Bye.